Baggedmilk joining us again. How you doing, my friend?
Good. Oilers are winning.
Yeah.
Getting a little bit warmer in Edmonton. What's not to like?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm so happy that they let the Red Wings come back and make it interesting, though. I was like, 4-1 after the first. Kind of a boring game now.
Seems like a very Edmonton thing to do.
Yeah, just like they drew it up, wasn't it?
Yeah, let them tie it up. It was like 5-5 with 5 minutes left in the third period, too. Yeah.
There was a couple of moments where the old beehole was puckered real tight.
You know what? The interesting thing about that game last night, I didn't watch the third period, but I watched a bit of the second and I watched the first period. The domination they have, and you can almost see them now where they're like, okay, let's take this game over. Right. And I watched the highlights, and again, I'm watching the highlights, but it became obvious to me. It was like, okay, what are we doing wrong here? We need to do what we were doing in the first. Let's take the game over again. They have that ability. They have that gear, right?
Yeah, last night it was almost like, it felt like for me after it was 4-1 after the first period that they almost called the game. They're like, all right, stats night, let's pad the numbers, let's see how this goes. And then what happened was the Red Wings didn't roll over and die.
Well,
so they fought back.
Sam Gagner gave him a little spark at the end of the first, and
yeah.
Well, and it's funny too, right? Like Sam Gagner scores last night, and the reaction at Rogers Place is very split. People are like, well, I don't want the Red Wings to score, but I'm happy Sam Gagner scored.
How old is he now?
He's got to be in his early 30s, right? Like,
yeah,
he's been around for 2,000 years, it seems like.
I know.
Surprisingly young because he was in the NHL. He's 32 only.
He's only 32, eh?
Like, he was in the NHL so young, though.
For a smaller guy, too, to have that kind of a lengthy career is unbelievable. Good for him.
And last night he matched his dad's games played number last night, ended up scoring at Edmonton. So it's a nice little story there as well for Sammy.
There you go. Nice. Yeah. So we talk about the NHL trade line, or should we just sort of just hold our breath until Monday?
I think that Oilers fans that are expecting big moves, big swings are going to be disappointed. I don't think the Oilers have a whole lot of tradable assets that they necessarily want to move. They don't have a lot of cap space. And I think we're going to get sold Evander Kane was their pickup and he came on in January. And I think we're going to hear a lot about that. I don't think they're going to trade for a goalie. I think if anything, it's going to be like late pick for depth defenseman. It's going to be one of those years. I'd hope to be wrong because I'm going to be at Nation HQ all day ready to write. But if there's nothing going on, there's nothing going on.
Do you think there's anything to what Mikko Koskinen was saying, that it's all made up fake news that he gets tired? Did we just
I don't know. Last night, as the game kind of wore on, things got a little sloppy, you know?
Yeah.
Like that fifth goal that the Red Wings tied it again was a big mistake between Mikko and Keith behind the net. And that's just, maybe he's getting a little tired. I don't know. I also like the responses too. I think it's funny that the players are getting a little bit sassy with the media this year. I like it.
I don't hate that. You know, media people are dicks. Sports donkeys are annoying.
Myself included.
Yes, we all are. We all fit the bill. Definitely. You know what? It's funny. I worry about the teams that have nothing to lose with this Oilers squad.
Yeah.
And the Sabres have nothing to lose. And they're in town tomorrow night. Is that something that concerns you too?
Beat the Leafs the other night.
I know.
Well, here's the thing. The Sabres have won 2 in a row now. They're starting to play a little bit better. Like Grant said, they beat the Leafs. Here's the thing with the Oilers. If they play down to their competition, they're in trouble. What I guess I don't understand is how they looked so dominant on Saturday against Tampa. Absolutely steamrolled the defending champs, and then they struggled against Detroit.
And played Washington too.
Exactly. If they play against the Sabres the same way they did against Washington and Tampa, they'll be fine. But if they do what they did yesterday, well, we could have an interesting little evening on our hands.
Yeah. And it's a 7:00 start, by the way.
St. Patrick's Day game.
It's the 4th game of the 5-game homestand and they've won all 3 so far. And generally the Oilers have this year a bit, they've struggled at home. So we got some positives that we can sort of put up on the board right now. The
little
other
bit, three wins in a row, back in third place in the Pacific Division. They're only 4 points behind Los Angeles with 2 games in hand. The Oilers are in good shape right now.
And Vegas is losing right now. The Knights, they're sort of slipping a bit. So yeah, so that sort of lends itself to a playoff conversation. This is a playoff team, right?
I think so. But what's fun now is we've still got 20 plus games left in the season, and we're all scoreboard watching. It's a stressful time of year. Those losing streaks back in December, January really hurt, and now it's cause for a stressful finish. But hey, like you said, Vegas has fallen off. They've lost 5 in a row. Oilers have won 3 in a row. They're moving up. Los Angeles lost last night. Perfect night for the Oilers on the scoreboard. Yep. So I think that this is going to be an exciting finish. We got 22 games left, and we'll see what happens.
Oilers Nation Flames trip. Any spots left on that bus?
We are running out of spots. So if you want to come with us to Calgary next weekend, that's the 26th, and I encourage you to. It's a great time.
I've done 2 or 3 of them, and they are a blast. Yeah,
they're a blast. So if you can come, I encourage you to. We're almost sold out. So head on over to backsideTours.com. We're right there on the front page. Join the Oilers Nation vacation down to Calgary.
I'll have to queue up my tweet
about Lucic.
Yes,
still faster than Lucic.
Yeah,
take your skates with your luck.
Throw me in, coach. All right. Thanks, Baggedmilk from Oilers Nation.
Thanks, boys.